Coming up on this episode of Design to the Nines, we're shaking things up a little bit, and on this episode I'm sharing with you my fresh blueberry pie with a surprise twist. This is perfect for your Thanksgiving dinner, or really, let's be honest, any time of year. So if that sounds good to you, stay tuned. Welcome to Design to the Nines. I'm Natalie Callahan, and if this is the first time we're meeting, welcome to my channel. Normally I do videos about DIY and home decor, but occasionally I break out my very best recipes, and that's what we're doing today. So if that's of interest to you, I'd invite you to subscribe to my channel below and make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of my episodes. I'd love it if you decided to join me. As I mentioned, today I'm doing a recipe for you. I'm really excited about this. I polled you and you told me that you would like me to do a couple of my very best recipes. So today I wanted to share with you my blueberry pie with a cream filling. It is amazing. Toot toot! Pies are something that I do well. I am known for my coconut cream pie, which I shared last Thanksgiving. If you haven't seen that episode, I'll make sure to link it in the description box below so you can check that out after you watch this one. But last year I decided to make a blueberry pie. I think it was because I was feeling a little nostalgic. We lived in Maine for several years. We have a home there. We love Maine, and from blueberry muffins to blueberry pie, that really screams Maine. As my grandma Ruth would say, I love me a good piece of pie. She even said that to her dying day when her wits were not all about her. She remembered that she loved a good piece of pie, and I think my grandma Ruth would really love this blueberry pie. So I'm going to teach you how to make this pie now. So I've already pre-baked a crust and it's over here cooling. I make my pie crust different than most people. It's not your typical pie crust, and it's really good, so I've been told. That was another episode that I did last year. So if you're interested, after this episode, check out my coconut cream pie recipe and make sure you check out my pie recipe. The next step in this process would be to do the cream filling. We're going to start out by adding 8 ounces of softened cream cheese. So just kind of bring that up to room temperature. Okay, and then we've got a half a cup of powdered sugar and a half a teaspoon of vanilla. And we are just going to cream this all together. And then we have 1 cup of heavy whipping cream that we've already pre-whipped, and we whip that in a icy cold bowl. And we are just going to fold this in. This is going to be so good. This is why it's good for the cream cheese to be softened, because then it will incorporate better. So we've got the cream filling in, and now I'm just going to throw it in the fridge while we prepare the blueberry topping. Now we are going to start our blueberry topping, and the first thing that we need to do is the glaze, the blueberry glaze. So what I have is on the stove top, I've got 1 cup of cold water. We're going to do a dash of salt, turn it on high, and then what we're going to do is we are going to add 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, 3/4 cup of regular sugar, the juice of a half of a lemon, or 1 to 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. If you're going to cheat and use the stuff from the fridge, I'm not going to judge. And then you could use 1 cup of your fresh blueberries, but I figure since we're cooking this down, I always cheat and use my frozen blueberries from Maine, of course. I usually have these on hand for like blueberry muffins or smoothies or something like that. So it's always in my freezer. And I figure since we're cooking it down that I want to keep the fresh blueberries fresh, and then I'll just use frozen for this part. So we put it all in, and now we're going to bring it up to a boil. All right, so after we thicken the sauce and it turns that beautiful glossy color, we remove it from the heat, and we add 1 tablespoon of butter to it, and then we make sure we stir that in and melt it, and then you're gonna let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes just to cool off so you don't shrivel up those fresh plump blueberries. Then we'll combine everything together. And then we'll put it on top of our cream filling. All right, with our blueberries on top of our pie, we need to throw it in the fridge for at least 4 hours, preferably overnight. All right, our fresh blueberry pie with the cream cheese filling center is done, and honestly, this is a pretty easy pie to make and so crowd pleasing. You are going to really delight your guests with this pie, I promise you. And it's just a few simple steps. I hope that you really enjoy this pie if you make it. I will make sure to put a link for the recipe below in the description box, so you can just click on that and print it out, and there you have it. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button, and if you haven't already, consider sticking around by hitting subscribe, and make sure you turn on the bell notifications so you don't miss an episode. I really appreciate the support. Now it's time to try our pie. We've got our thankful place from our previous episode. If you haven't seen that episode, I'll link it below. And let's try to get this out of here without making a huge mess. Let's see how delicately we can do this. You know, it doesn't really matter how it comes out because it's all gonna taste the same. Oh, I made a mess. Oh, that's okay. It'll still taste the same going down. If somebody has tips on how to get it out of the pan, that first piece, without making a mess, leave it in the comment section below. But all right, so I'm gonna try to find a bite here that's not an absolute mess. There we go. You guys are gonna love this. Thanks for watching.